and welcome to Season 2, Episode 12 of KittyCatGO Live, where we discuss various topics related to traveling and adventuring with your cat. I'm your host, Emily Hall, and tonight, for the final episode of the season, I am flying solo to answer any and all of your questions, ask some questions of you, and to share about my plans for KittyCatGO in 2023. But really, I shouldn't say I'm totally flying solo tonight because I actually have my whole gang of cats and my dog here with me tonight. So really anything could happen and all bets are off. My dog just brought me a toy. That is very noisy. But I wanted tonight's episode to be more informal and relaxed and like we're just hanging out. So I'm making no promises on the behavior of my gang. But anyway, if you're watching with me tonight or on the replay, be sure to say hello in the comments and let me know where you're watching from. Questions are encouraged along the way as well. All right. So, I see Terry is here. Terry and Jim and Adami and Angela. I'm sure you've got your whole gang with you too. All right. So I am going to start by sharing about my plans for 2023. I do have some things I can share with you guys. First is that Season 2 of the KittyCatGO Adventure podcast kicks off on Wednesday, January 11th. So that's just about 4 weeks away. The first season just wrapped up a few weeks back. If you haven't taken a listen to that, there are 6 episodes. It's a shorter season, but there are 6 episodes available on all of the podcast platforms. It's called the KittyCatGO Adventure Podcast, and I have some really great guests. If you've been watching KittyCatGO Live all along, you've heard these episodes before because I'm actually repurposing these KittyCatGO Live episodes into podcast episodes. So this will eventually become a podcast episode, I suppose, for next season. So yes, Season 2 drops January 11th. I haven't decided which episode is going to be the first one yet, so I don't have that news to share, but Season 2 is coming. I see Nicole and Cal and Carmen and Colby and Cooper are all here. All of the C gang is here. Good to have you guys. All right, so in addition to Season 2 of the KittyCatGO Adventure podcast, there will also be a Season 3 of KittyCatGO Live. It will continue as a monthly live stream show, just as it is now. So expect this to continue the second Wednesday of every month in 2023. I also have some plans for some new products to be released in my shop. I'm not going to share any more information than that. So just be sure you keep your eyes out on social media. And if you're on my email list, you'll definitely get the news as well. So yeah, some new product drops. And KittyCatGO Trailblazers, if you're not in our membership community, KittyCatGO Trailblazers, now is the time to join. I've got some fun things in store for next year for that community. And if you join before the end of the year, you'll lock in the $5 a month membership rate for life, or for as long as you can decide to continue your membership. Because I am raising membership rates in January. So it's going to go from $5 a month to $7 a month. There will also be an annual rate available of $70 a year. So that gives people 2 months free if they decide to pay for the whole year up front. If you are already a member now, this price increase does not apply to you. You have your $5 per month membership rate locked in. And if you join before the end of the month, you also will have your $5 a month membership rate locked in. So join now. It's a really great group. And I'm not just saying that because I started it, but there are cats and people from all over the world in Trailblazers. And we have a lot of fun with our monthly challenges. And then starting next year, I'm adding some new features to the group. Like I have 4 titles that I am working on hashing the details out for right now. And they are more long-term kind of things that you can earn with your cat. There's a Harness and Leash Pro title. There's a one called Pathfinder, which is you have to log a certain number of miles of hiking or walking with your cat. And then there's Cooperative Care Champion. So that's going to require people to show off their cooperative care skills like brushing and nail trims and teeth brushing and pilling and all of those kind of handling and care tasks with your cat. Hold on. My dog's got cat food bowl and making clinky sounds with it. And then the fourth one is Cat Friendly Locations Conqueror. Oh, Django wants to say hi. Hi, everybody. All right, bud, get down. Cat Friendly Locations Conqueror will require people to visit a lot of different places with their cat. So to earn those titles, there's no time frame with those. Like most of the challenges that we've done are sort of tied to a month, though members can go back and revisit them at any time. They're mostly a monthly challenge. These 4 new titles are not tied to any specific month. They're ongoing. You can take as long as you want to earn those. And I've got some really cute badges that I had designed, and I just got the artwork for them a couple of days ago. And they're so cute. I can't wait to share them and release them. So anyway, that's a new thing that I'm adding to Trailblazers that will start in January. And then I'm also adding member features. So every Wednesday in the group, I'll be featuring a member of the community by writing up a little profile on them so that everybody can get to know each other a little bit better. And then we already have a monthly Zoom chat at the beginning of every month. But I'm adding a second Zoom chat halfway through the month for just another opportunity for all of us to hang out and visit and get to know each other a little bit better. So Trailblazers is growing in 2023, and I hope you will join us. I'm going to drop the link for the page for that where you can read all the information about KittyCatGO Trailblazers. And if you have any questions, obviously, I am happy to answer them. So I just dropped the link there for you if you would like to read more about Trailblazers if you're not already a member. If you are watching and you are a member of Trailblazers, let me know in the comments and maybe share a little bit about your experience. I'd love to know maybe what your favorite thing about Trailblazers has been this year. Okay, so next up on my list, I am going to maybe try to plan a meetup in 2023. It will probably mostly be a local thing or for anyone willing to drive to Georgia, but it's not going to be a huge kind of conference thing. I know I sort of teased a conference a couple of years ago. That is, I haven't given up on that idea, but it's definitely, I've put a pin in it for now. And I just want to maybe start with some smaller meetups. So be on lookout for news about that. I don't have any details or anything worked out, just an idea that I would like to have some sort of meetup next year. I had one actually a couple of years ago, and it was really fun. There were like 20 people that came, and there were maybe like 6 or 8 cats, and it was pretty fun. So I'm going to try to do something like that again in 2023. So those are all my 2023 plans so far. I'm sure there will be more because things are always evolving, and I'm always getting ideas and being inspired by all of you guys. So yeah. Terry says they are founding members. They love hearing what everyone else accomplishes and is up to. It's so inspiring. Yes, that is absolutely one of my favorite things about the Trailblazers community. There have been some really big accomplishments this year from a lot of the members, and it's been really great to see. Mr. McFloofy Pants, Katie, and Titan and Ember and Matcha says they love the community and the challenges that inspire us to try new things. That's awesome. So thank you guys for sharing that. Chloe says, did you figure out how to clone yourself? Not yet, but that would be helpful. Or if I could get my cats to start pulling their weight around here, that would also be helpful. Okay. I guess what I have next in my notes is all of the questions that you submitted to me. So on Monday, I posted on Instagram about this episode tonight and asked people to submit questions that they wanted to ask me. It could be about anything, because tonight's episode is an Ask Me Anything after all. So questions are welcome. It doesn't have to be about Kitty Cat Go or cat adventuring. It certainly can be. I'm happy to answer those questions too, but I guess the world is your oyster. Feel free to ask me whatever you want. I did get some really fun questions on Instagram, and I also asked for people to submit questions via email. So I've got my list of questions here I'm going to start working through. Nicole says, we love the encouragement from all of you veteran members, even though we've been busy lately and haven't been very active. That's okay. The community is always there, and we definitely miss seeing everyone's adventures in your group, but we're here for you whenever you're able to come back to it. Okay. So the first question that was submitted was from Momo the Hiking Siamese, and they were wondering, how do you make more than one cat walk in the same direction when outdoors? So I think that's a trick question. Getting one cat to walk in the direction you want is hard enough sometimes. So walking two cats and getting them both to walk in the same direction is definitely a challenge. So good luck with that. But all joking aside, if you are trying to walk with two cats, it's definitely challenging, and I have never done it by myself. If I'm taking two cats out, I will always have my husband with me, one person per cat. I just feel more comfortable that way. But if you're by yourself and taking two cats out, you could try using a wand toy or treats to maybe lure both of your cats in the same direction. You could train them to come to their names, and you can call them, hey, guys, cut it out. Excuse me. There's a brawl happening. Hey, stop. Okay. The joys of live broadcasts when you have all your animals around. In typical fashion, Kylo was just being a little bit of a turd. Okay, what was I saying? Oh, okay. If you are trying to walk more than one cat at a time, you can use a toy or treats, maybe call them so they'll follow you. But really, I don't recommend being in front of your cats because the tension on the leash, if you're in front of your cats, lends your cats to be able to back out of their harnesses a little bit more easily. So yeah, unless you have somebody in front of you who can call them or drag a toy or something, or try to lure both cats in the same direction, it could definitely be a challenge to get them both to follow. So my best suggestion really would, if you're by yourself, is to not try to walk both cats at the same time. You could have a backpack or stroller and have one in the backpack or stroller while the other one walks, and just kind of take turns. So that way you're only having to manage one cat walking at a time while the other one gets to ride, and they can just take turns. That would be my best suggestion. Or if you have a friend or somebody you can bring along with you to help, that would be good too, because adventuring with two cats is tricky, not just because it's difficult to get them both to go in the same direction, but also if something were to happen, like something were to spook your cats, or an off-leash dog were to come up, trying to manage two cats by yourself, it would be very difficult, and the chances of something bad happening would be much higher. I see the comments about Kylo. Katie said, my question is, whose fault is the brawl? Yeah, definitely Kylo. It usually is Kylo. He's the instigator of the family. And now Samson and Django are playing, and they're playing nicely, but they're making a little bit of a ruckus. If you hear that, I apologize. This is why I don't usually do these episodes with all of my animals around. Oh man. Okay. Checking the comments. Darren says, "What is your favorite brand of backpack?" So I have a few different backpacks that I use. The one that I use the most often is the Pet Ami. Um, I'm trying to think of what the model is. Deluxe, I think Pet Ami Deluxe is what it's called. I use that one a lot. And then I also recently got the KittyCatGO G Train. And that one, I haven't gotten to use it a lot. I've only used it a few times, but so far I've really been loving that one. It's really comfortable for me, and it seems to be comfortable for the cats. Sophie's ridden in it a few times, and Kylo's ridden in it once, and they've both done pretty well in it. So those are my two favorites, I guess, the Pet Ami Deluxe and the KittyCatGO G Train. And Darren also says, "Do you have a recommendation for a brand of tracker?" So I am currently in the process of testing out the Tractive. So I will have an opinion on that one soon. But so far, out of the two that I have already tested pretty thoroughly, I've tested the AirTag, the Apple AirTag, and the Marco Polo pet tracker. They just unplugged my light. Let me finish answering this question. I will plug my light back in. Out of the Marco Polo and the AirTag, I like the Marco Polo the best. It definitely works the best and is the most reliable. The downside to it is that the tracker thing that you hold in your hand is pretty big and kind of clunky, but it works a lot better. The Tractive so far seems to be pretty good, but I haven't tested it yet super thoroughly to be able to comment on it too much. Okay, I'm gonna plug my light back in. Hold on. Oh, this is crazier than I expected. You guys are being crazy. Okay. All right. Wow, you guys are full of questions. I love it. Katie says, "What inspired you to start Trailblazers, and is it your full-time job or your side hustle?" So I started Trailblazers in December of last year, and it kind of grew out of these adventure challenges. I had been doing adventure challenges a few times a year. I think the first one was in 2020, maybe 2000. Yeah, I think it was winter of 2020 was the first adventure challenge, and it was a December one, and it went really well, and the adventure challenges just kind of grew. I did them like every few months, and they went really well, and as participation grew, they just became a lot of work, a lot of time, and even money spent on my part, and but the community that grew out of it was really awesome. And I wanted to be able to continue it. And so I decided, instead of doing it for free like I decided to turn it into an online community where I could charge a nominal fee so that my time and money would be compensated for all the work and stuff I was doing to organize it, and still be able to provide it, and also grow and nurture the amazing community that grew around it. So I guess really you guys all inspired me to start Trailblazers, because you enjoyed the adventure challenges that I was doing so much that they grew and kind of evolved into what Trailblazers is now. So that is Trailblazers. And is it my full-time job? No, I wish. I actually have like 4 or 5 jobs. So my main job is that I'm a music teacher. My husband and I own our own business called the Halls of Music. We teach private music lessons out of our home. We have an employee who also teaches here at our home. And so that's my main gig. And then I also help teach music at a school once a week. I do KittyCatGO, and Trailblazers. And then I also work for Blog Pause, which is a company that helps small pet businesses actually grow. And we have educational resources, and we have a membership group too, actually, where we coach and provide education for small pet businesses on how to grow their businesses online and stuff like that. So those are all of my jobs. KittyCatGO is a side hustle, but quickly growing into a little bit more than that. I would like it to be more than just a side hustle, so we'll see where it goes. All right. Darren, have you researched pet insurance providers? No, I have not. I mean, I have. I've looked into pet insurance before, but with as many animals as I have, it is cost prohibitive. So instead of insurance, my husband and I just have our own little savings that we put money aside for vet bills and emergencies and stuff that come up for our pets. Okay. Oh, Nicole says, what's your secret to having a Christmas tree that isn't destroyed? I wish I had some great advice for you on that, but I'm just very lucky in that none of my cats climb the tree. I don't know how, because I have so many. I would expect at least one of them to be a tree climber, but luckily they live alone. They play underneath it a lot, and so I don't have ornaments down on the like near the bottom, so that they don't knock them off and break them, because they have done that before, but they don't ever climb it, so that's good. Darren says, you have an accent that you suppress. A little bit, yes. If I mean, I don't have to work too hard to suppress it, but I can have a little bit of a Southern accent if I am around people who also have thicker Southern accents, like my husband's family. If I'm around them, you would hear a little bit of a Southern accent come out. Or if I'm tired, I might have a little bit more of a Southern accent. So I guess I do sort of suppress it, but it's not super thick. Okay. Darren also says, will you start making biothane cat harnesses? Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. You'll just have to keep your eye out for that. Okay, so I'm gonna get back to some of the questions that were submitted. You guys definitely keep dropping comments or your questions in the comments. I'm gonna try to go between them all. So I answered Momo's question, which actually kind of led into another question that I got. Walking with two cats, is it possible? So I answered that pretty much in Momo's question. It is possible, especially if you have two people. That would be my best recommendation. If you're trying to walk two cats, again, have one person per cat, or if that's not an option, have a backpack or stroller, and you can alternate which cat gets the turn to walk. I don't really recommend walking two cats at once as a solo person, because just the chances of something bad happening, like off-leash dog or something spooking your cat, and then you have two scared cats to manage, and that just seems like a recipe for disaster. So that is my advice. The next one was from Admiral Ashley on Instagram. She asked, how did you decide to go into business and create this incredible community? So I sort of answered that in Katie's question. Katie asked about how I got the inspiration for starting Trailblazers, but KittyCatGO has been around longer than Trailblazers has. I started KittyCatGO in March of 2020, so right before the pandemic hit. And at the time, I was working, my husband and I had our business, The Halls of Music, and then I also had a more substantial school job where I was going in 3 times a week to help with the band program at a school. And KittyCatGO was just going to be like a little side project. I had noticed that at the time, there weren't a lot of resources to educate people on how to safely adventure with their cats outdoors. And I had been doing it for years at that point. And I felt like I had some insights to share, and I believe so strongly, obviously, in taking your cats outside on a harness and leash that I wanted to create a resource for people to encourage them and educate them and help them to have successful cat adventures. So I started KittyCatGO, and it was at the time just a website, a blog where I was writing content, like training, how to harness train your cat, backpack train your cat, all that. And that also exists, and I still do that. I actually just put a blog post up today about ticks in cats. So the KittyCatGO website and blog still exists, and that's how it started. It was just the website and the blog. And then when COVID happened, I lost my school job and had a lot more free time on my hands. And so I was able to put more time and effort into KittyCatGO, and it just kind of grew. And I added more to what I was doing, eventually the adventure challenges, and then my online store, and then Trailblazers and all of that. So it's just evolved over the past couple of years as I've had more time to put into it and dedicate to it. So that is how KittyCatGO was born. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. Checking comments. Darren says, do you have a favorite adventure kitty outside of your own? No, I don't. I mean, all of you guys are all my favorite adventure kitties outside of my own. You definitely inspire me all the time. So that's my answer. Maybe cheesy, but it's the truth. Darren says, will there be talking button challenges in 2023? Probably not. I don't do the button training with my cats, and I know a lot of cats have trouble pressing the buttons. Some of them are difficult to press. So maybe I can incorporate it somehow as maybe a task in a challenge, but I don't have any plans to make that the sole focus of a challenge. Yeah. Okay. Will there be Trailblazers cat venturing meetups in 2023? So, I mean, the meetup I'm possibly planning on having next year will be just a general cat adventure meetup. Trailblazers are obviously welcome to come. And I know of at least 2 Trailblazers members who live within an hour or 2 of me. So I'm hoping they will be there. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Okay. Adami and Terry, who is here, asked, what are your most effective strategies in dealing with off-leash dogs? So I'm going to drop a link in the comments. First, I have a blog post about this. So if you haven't seen it yet, for those who haven't seen it yet, I was just checking that out. It is a great resource that's compiled from information that was shared in a KittyCatGO live episode from earlier this year, where I had a panel discussion with guests on dealing with off-leash dogs. So check that out. Some of the things you'll find in the article are, I recommend training your cat to get in their backpack or stroller on command. So if you see an off-leash dog approaching, you can get your cat in their backpack or stroller quickly, hopefully before the dog is like right up on you. I know sometimes dogs do just kind of come out of nowhere and you don't see them coming. But hopefully if you have your cat trained to get in their backpack or stroller on command, that can help. Also, you can work to maybe desensitize your cat to dogs. So that way, if they see a dog, they're not necessarily going to be spooked. And obviously, off-leash dog is not great. That means that person is probably breaking the rules. And though your first, I'm having a brain fart. Though you may first want to be confrontational, because you may feel angry. I'm not a confrontational person, so my advice might be different than like how some people would handle this, but I try to avoid the confrontation. And instead of like getting mad at the person and telling them, like yelling at them to leash their dog, they're breaking the rules or whatever, I usually try to like ask them nicely, like, hey, can you leash your dog? I sort of put it back on myself. Like, I've got a cat and they're not good with dogs. Can you please leash your dog? Or you can tell them that your cat isn't friendly and will attack. And then that person might be more likely to put their dog on their leash. Or you can say, one person suggested this is tell them that your cat is contagious. I mean, making that up, obviously, but they don't know that. And they'll be, nervous about their dog catching something from your cat possibly and be quicker to leash their dog. So those are some non-confrontational ways that you can deal with the person who might have the off-leash dog. And then there are some tools that you can use and carry with you on your adventures. Like most of us are probably traveling with treats. If you have dry kibble or treats, you can, this was suggested by one of the dog trainers that was on the show. They suggested throwing what's called a food bomb. You just throw a handful of food at the dog, and then hopefully that food will distract the dog. And then you and your cat can remove yourselves from the situation while the dog is distracted. You can also carry a spray bottle with white vinegar. You can spray it at the dog, and that will not hurt them or anything, but hopefully like irritate them enough that they won't approach. And then you can go a step further than that if you feel like you need it and use a deterrent spray. There's Pet Shield dog deterrent spray, and then you could even use like a pepper gel. I wouldn't suggest that unless you feel like the situation is actually really dangerous and that you need that self-defense. But it's pretty extreme. You won't seriously injure the dog like long-term or anything, but it will be quite painful. So I kind of see that as like, if my cat and I are in danger, use something like that. So those are my off-leash dog tips. If you guys have any others that you employ in dealing with off-leash dogs, I would love to hear them. So drop them in the comments. Darren says, is there a way to use the Trailblazers platform to connect with cat ventures in our respective areas? Yes, actually there is. It sort of depends, I guess. As members in Trailblazers, there's a feature in your settings where you can turn it on or off, I think, and it will show your location. And then you can search members and it will show members that are near you. So like when I get on Trailblazers and I go to the near me section, it shows my husband, obviously, and then it shows Robin, because Robin lives about just a little over an hour from me. And so they show up as members that are near me. So as long as the members near you have that location feature turned on in their settings, then yes, you can search for members that are near you and then maybe schedule your own meetups and stuff. So that would be cool. I would definitely love to see that if anybody organizes their own Trailblazers meetup in their own area. That would be cool. Darren asks, is bear spray too aggressive for a dog? I don't know the answer to that. I know that like pepper spray and pepper gel will irritate a dog and it'll be very painful for them, but it won't cause blindness or anything like that permanently. Bear spray, I haven't looked into, so I'm not sure how that would affect a dog if it has any long-term side effects. It might not. It might be just like pepper spray or pepper gel and just be really irritating and painful, but nothing more than that. So I'm not sure. Sorry. Another question submitted from Adami, the Abby, and Terry was, what's your best response to, is that a cat? So I don't really have a clever response that I give when people ask me that, because it's definitely a question I get asked a lot when I'm out with my cats. Usually I just am like, yes, it is. And that's it. But I have, heard funny suggestions from others where they make up something like, no, it's a monkey, or no, this is my pet tiger, or, just silly things like that, which I think is funny, but I'm boring and I just go with the, yes, it is a cat. Terry and Adami also submitted a question, Boron or Doombeck? So, for those who might not be familiar with those terms, they're both types of drums. I am a percussionist, play drums and percussion. So that is an appropriate question and a fun one. I personally am not skilled at playing either, so I can't answer that question as far as like which one do I prefer playing. But I can say that I prefer listening and watching a bodhrán. Bodhrán is an Irish drum. For those who might not know, it's like a frame drum, and the people play it like this little two-sided mallet thing, and then a doumbek is a little hand drum that's a Middle Eastern drum. So they both are super cool. You can do a lot of really cool things with them. But I think if I had to choose to listen to or watch one or the other, I would go with the bodhrán. All right. Next question was submitted on Instagram from Coda Cat, and they said, my cat forgets all his training as soon as we step outside. What can I do? So that's a really great question. Training or getting your cat to perform their skills outside is very difficult because there are so many distractions. So if you're wanting to work on, I'm just going to pick a skill, let's say sit. If you're wanting your cat to perform their sit training outside, then you first want to make sure that they're 100% confident with that skill inside. So train the skill very thoroughly inside, make sure they're 100% on their sit. And then go outside, like just outside your home, maybe so not far, and have training sessions where you're specifically practicing your training outside. You're practicing your sit. And you'll notice probably that your cat isn't as focused and maybe not sitting quite as frequently and consistently as they do inside, but you can start the process. And then, hopefully they would get better and more confident with it. So then when you're actually out on an adventure and you ask your cat to sit, they'll be more likely to do it successfully. The key is just actually practicing your training outside. So I think a lot of people do their training inside, then go on an adventure and then expect their cat to be able to perform, just wherever, whenever. And you actually have to practice the outside training. So that would be my suggestion. You may already be doing that. I don't know what sort of training you're doing with your cat that he's forgetting when you go outside on adventures. So I'm kind of just going on what information I have. So I'm assuming that, maybe you're just trying to get your cat to get in their backpack or sit or stay or whatever that they may be doing inside and not doing outside. And my recommendation would just be to actually have training sessions on your back porch or your backyard where you're working on those skills and gradually building your cat's confidence and abilities to do them outside. And then hopefully when you're actually in a adventure situation, they will be more likely to perform them. And then next question was from Angel, submitted from Angel at Adami the Abbey on Instagram. And he asked, what's my favorite trail snack? So my favorite trail snack is a banana. I usually have a banana with me when I go on a hike. It's a nice snack because you don't have to worry about the trash. And I like bananas. So that's my trail snack. What's your trail snack? You guys let me know in the comments. What is your favorite trail snack for the humans? I know cats, their favorite trail snack is going to be churro or, any of those squeezy treats. I'm sure that's going to be the most common answer for cats, but humans, what's yours? Okay, going to the comments. Would you consider interviewing the acrocats? Darren asked. I have asked them actually, and Samantha, they live not too far from me, 45 minutes. I think their little compound place where they have their big enclosure and cats and all of that is just 45 minutes from me. I haven't been to it, but I have emailed with them and spoken on the phone with them before. But Samantha, who is in charge of, she's like the head of the Acrocats, she's not comfortable being on video, I was told. And so probably won't, unfortunately, have the opportunity to interview the Acrocats. Is there room on your 2023 schedule to interview more popular cat venturers? So my 2023 schedule is wide open. Actually, that was going to be one of my questions to you guys tonight, was recommendations on guests for my 2023 lineup for the show. So we'll get to that in a little bit. Let me get through I have a few more questions that people submitted, and then we can talk about potential guests for next year. Where am I? Oh, Jim at RG Bisme on Instagram submitted the question. As a child, did you have an imaginary friend? Describe them. So I didn't have like an imaginary friend that was completely made up, but I did have a lot of stuffed animals that I pretended were real, and I talked to them and they talked to me. So I didn't have a completely made up friend, but lots of stuffed animals. One of my favorite stuffed animal friends was a big bunny. I actually have him still in my office. He's like this big and has big ears, and he's dressed in a pair of my overalls from when I was a kid, and his name is Big Bunny. Really original. But he was one of my friends growing up who was, made up. So yeah, stuffed animal friends, not fully made up. So it's kind of not as exciting or interesting of an answer. All right. Sully of Boston on Instagram asked me how I came up with the name KittyCatGO. So the name KittyCatGO came about because I have a blog. I haven't posted on it in a long time, not since the spring. But I have a blog, like a personal blog, where I just share about my own cats and their adventures and what they get up to. And it's called Kitty Cat Chronicles. And I've had that for about 10 years. And when I started KittyCatGO, I wanted the name of the new site that I made to kind of tie back to that original Kitty Cat Chronicles name. But I wanted it obviously to have a spin on it that suggested like going outside. And so I came up with KittyCatGO, because Kitty Cat obviously ties to Kitty Cat Chronicles. And then the go is like, we're on the go. We're going and doing things with our cats. So KittyCatGO is a sister name to my original blog, Kitty Cat Chronicles. So that is how that name came about. And then one more question submitted on Instagram, and then I'll come back to the questions you guys are dropping in the comments. I don't know how to say this person's Instagram name. I think they're like from Germany or somewhere in Europe. So it's like at Die Retiri, I'm Nature Park. That's my best go at it. Very poor pronunciation, I'm sure. But they asked me, how do I protect my cat when walking in -8 to -13 degrees Celsius weather? So again, I'm going to drop some links in the comments for this. I have a blog post about winter adventure safety and what you can do to, make sure your cat is warm, make sure your cat is safe. And then the 6th episode of the KittyCatGO Adventure podcast, I actually talk with Stephanie Ketterer, who lives in Canada and adventures in the snow with her cats. And so she shares some really great information in that interview. So I'm dropping the link to that episode as well. So that's episode 6 of season 1 of the KittyCatGO Adventure podcast. So both of those are really great resources if you're looking for tips about adventuring in the winter with your cat. Some of the information that you'll find in those resources are to invest in a quality jacket or coat that will keep your cat warm. We actually have a thread that just started today in the KittyCatGO Trailblazers group where people are sharing their favorite cat coats and jackets. So if you join Trailblazers, you'll be able to see that resource. And then if you're venturing in the snow, things like that, you can use paw wax on your cat's paws to help protect them, not just from the snow and the ice, but also from chemicals that might be put out on the snow and the ice, which, obviously you want to try to avoid, like antifreeze and salt and stuff like that that's put out on ice and snow to try to melt it. You want to avoid that because it is toxic to cats. But a layer of paw wax will help protect your cat's feet, and then just make sure you wash them off when you come back inside. You can do, if your cat will tolerate it, you can put a snood on them, which is like one of those hat things that covers their ears, because your cat's ears will be really susceptible to the cold. So you can try that. Most cats probably won't tolerate that because they don't really like things on their ears. But maybe you can train your cat to accept it, or maybe your cat is just, really amiable to that kind of thing. You can also add a heat source to their backpack. So you could heat up like a water bottle and stick it, wrap it in a towel and stick it in your cat's backpack. We actually, in the Zoom chat we had in Trailblazers earlier this month, people were sharing about heated things that they stick in their cat's backpack, like that are charged with USB and stuff like that. And you line the bottom of your cat's backpack with it, and it keeps them warm when you're venturing in the winter. And then if you are outside, in whether it's snowing or just super cold, just keep an eye on your cat. Check their ears, check their paws, make sure they're not getting too cold, make sure they're not shivering, and just limit the amount of time that you're outside. Probably not going to be able to stay out as long in the extreme cold temperatures as you are obviously on like a normal kind of spring or summer day. So just keep an eye on your cat and use your judgment. Follow your cat's body language and how they're feeling and doing with the cold. Okay, those were all my submitted questions. Let me get back to the comments. And let's see what else was asked. Katie said her favorite trail snack is a Cliff Bar. Good source of energy. Darren asks, has Bobby gotten around to going fishing yet? No. Terry says that the humans, they're like apples or pack a full sandwich for trail snacks. I'm a peanut butter and jelly sandwich fan. Katie asked, have I trained any other animals besides cats? My dog, I have trained my dog. He knows several tricks and is pretty well behaved. And he has been, well, I was going to say more difficult to train than my cats, but that's not true. He actually catches on to things very quickly. His energy is just very different. He's young, and so can be very hyperactive, and he gets a little sassy with me sometimes. Like, he really hates when I ask him to lay down. So it's pretty cute. I should show you guys a video of it. When I ask him to lay down, he kind of like, he makes this face at me, and it's not aggressive. I know that like looks like he's like baring his teeth and growling at me, but he's being playful. And it's really silly. But no, I've trained him. So that's the only other animal I've trained is my dog. He knows a lot of the same tricks the cats know. I really have used all the same techniques to train my cats. Oh, and here he is. He knows I'm talking about it. All the same techniques and stuff I use to train the cats, I've used on him. Django, get down, please. Get down. Get down. You're not being very well behaved right now. I was just bragging on you. Darren asked, what's my favorite sport? Are you invested in the World Cup? I am not a big sports person. I don't follow any sports. I never really played any sports. If I were to go to a sports game, and I do sometimes enjoy going to baseball games. So I like going to the Atlanta Braves are the pro baseball team that we have here in Georgia, and I like going to Braves games sometimes, but I don't follow them or keep up with. I don't know any of the players' names. I don't know if they're winning or losing. I just sometimes like to go to a game, and that's it. So that's my sports, the extent of my sports interest. I'm not invested in the World Cup. I wouldn't have even probably known it was going on, except for I've seen people post about it on Facebook. So sorry. Darren also asked what was my favorite holiday food. Ooh, that's a tough one. I really like green bean casserole and corn casserole and macaroni and cheese. I'm a vegetarian, so my holiday favorites are not going to be like turkey or ham or any of those things. All the vegetarian dishes are my favorite, and whatever the dessert is. I'm a big dessert person. I have a huge sweet tooth. I could like eat dessert for every meal if that wouldn't mean that I would be super healthy and dying. So whatever the dessert is, that's my favorite holiday food, really. What do I want for Christmas? I haven't put much thought into that. I'll have to think about that and get back to you. All right. Oh, Tammy says she's been busy doing her holiday Christmas cards for KittyCatGO, and they've been sent. That's awesome. I can't wait to get yours. I got mine out, I think, last Friday, so hopefully everyone has gotten theirs by now. But if you haven't, maybe it's because you live internationally. But I sent to everybody on the list, so if you participated in the KittyCatGO holiday card exchange, you should be getting a card from me if you haven't already. Darren asked, do I have a procedure for protecting my cats from fleas? Yeah, I use Advantage 2 topical flea stuff during the season. Like I don't use it in the winter, but I use it like in the spring and summer months and stuff when fleas are a concern. And then I flea comb them on a regular basis too, just to make sure, and if I notice anything, then I know I need to take another step. That's generally what I use. Oh, Terry says, holiday food, Moosewood Cookbook, no fail pumpkin pie. Okay, well, I haven't heard of the Moosewood Cookbook. That sounds like an interesting cookbook. And I also like the no fail part because cooking, I do cook out of necessity, but I'm not like a super amazing cook and I don't enjoy it. So I really like the easy recipes and things like no fail. That's my kind of recipe. I'll check that out. Grace says they got her holiday card today. That's awesome. I'm glad it made it. Darren asked what kind of cat litter I use. I'm not really proud of my answer on that one. My answer, if I'm being honest, is Arm & Hammer clay. I use the like unscented Arm & Hammer clay litter. I would like to use something more environmentally friendly, but we go through 120 pounds of cat litter a month, and I cannot afford to use the fancier, environmentally friendly cat litters. So the cheap Arm & Hammer cat litter it is. So know that I wish I was able to do something more environmentally friendly than that. But maybe one day when KittyCatGO really takes off, I'll be able to afford 120 pounds of whatever one of those fancy cat litters is. Darren says, you can run an automobile seat heater on a pocket cell phone battery. Just line your backpack with the heating cables. You can even stage the voltage for higher heat. Interesting. That sounds complicated, but interesting. Oh, Grace says they use pine pellets from Tractor Supply, $6.99 for a 40-pound bag. Oh, well, that's definitely affordable. Does it clump? Do pine pellets clump? Because I'm definitely clumping is a necessity here with 7 cats using these litter boxes. I definitely need something that clumps real well. Darren says he'd be very interested to find out if a natural clumping cat litter would actually be more cost effective. I would too. Because if there is, I would like to use it. That's all the questions that I had submitted, and I think I've gotten all the questions in the comments. If I missed one, I'm sorry. Ask me again. Excuse me. If you think of more, keep them coming. But I'm going to start flipping the tables and asking you guys some questions. My first question, we already sort of hinted at because of a question that Darren asked me about my guests for 2023, but I don't have any scheduled or planned. I have some on my list of ideas, but I haven't actually reached out to anybody yet for 2023. So if you have a suggestion of a guest or a topic that you would like to see covered on Kitty Cat Go Live, which eventually becomes the Kitty Cat Go Adventure podcast, then I would love to know. My criteria for guests is that I want my mission, I guess, with the show, and aside from tonight, obviously, because tonight's just kind of like a silly, fun episode. My mission with the show is for it to be an educational resource. So each episode, I like it to cover a specific topic, and I like to have an expert on that topic to come share and, help educate viewers and listeners. So while I love hearing fellow cat adventurers' stories, that's not really the type of podcast and show that mine is. That kind of show already exists. The Cat Explorer podcast is a really great podcast where they share stories of cat adventures and all of that. And I love that. It's really great. I'm trying, I just don't trying to do something different, go in a different direction. So mine is more like guest expert on a specific topic. So with that in mind, if you guys have a guest or a particular topic that I could find an expert for, I would love to hear. Drop them in the comments, and I will add the ideas or the people to my list of possible guests for next year. Grace says, takes a little getting used to, but we love it and are forcing to like it. I like that it doesn't track through the house. Unfortunately, it doesn't clump though. Might have to try it. I'm hesitant though without the clumping. Darren says those pellets don't clump, but that's not a bad idea. You might not need clumping if it's cheap enough to dump the stuff that sticks to the bottom of the pan. That's true. That's true. Something to think about. I'll maybe have to try it in one of the boxes. We have several litter boxes, so maybe I can try the pine pellets in one and see how it goes. Nicole says, what about the Hike Life cat? Yeah, I'll add them to my list. Is there a particular topic from them that you would like to hear about that they're like what topic? Is there something specific from them you would like to learn about? Or just hiking? I guess hiking with a cat. She does a lot of things with Aries. I know that. So yeah, I will add Lindsay to my list of guests. Terry says, please interview David Tai. I'm not sure how to pronounce that name, from the National Symphony Orchestra about his cat music. Ooh, that's interesting. I will add him to my list too. Nicole says the Hike Life cat does a lot of camping, which I would like to learn about. Yeah, you're right. I actually did an episode about camping last year. Yeah, last year I did an episode about camping with Chloe from Spiky Spy Cat on Instagram. But I know that's a big topic, and there's definitely more that could be talked about and covered on that, and one that I would like to cover again. So yeah, Lindsay would be a good choice for that. Interview theoretically Teddy, interview Sir Pouncy. I don't know Sir Pouncy. What would their topic of expertise be? And then also theoretically Teddy, what topic would you want to hear from them too? I'm curious. These are great suggestions, guys. Keep them coming. One Bike, One World. I don't know them. I know you've suggested a biker person to me before, and I do have them on my list. I don't have my list up in front of me to look, but I do have my list of possibilities. I have a guest idea for someone who like travels around in a van with her 2 cats, and then I have somebody who bikes a lot with their cat. I can't remember what else I have on the list. Pouncy is the cycling cat. Okay, so that might be who I have already on my list. Cool. So keep the guest suggestions coming, and if you guys think of one later after the episode is over tonight, then message me on Instagram, shoot me an email, private message me on Trailblazers, wherever. And let me know. I'm always open to guest suggestions. I can't promise that it will happen, but I always like to get the suggestions and know, who you all want to hear from. All right. My next question for you is, what was your biggest accomplishment this year in 2022? Did you have a big accomplishment with your cats or even just for yourself? I would like to know what that was. For me, in regards to my cats, my biggest accomplishment was getting my cat Samson outside and going on his first adventure, not just out in the backyard, but he also has been outside of the backyard now. So I would say that was my biggest accomplishment for 2022. So I would like to know yours. And then another question that I have for you too. I'm going to give you a few questions and you can answer one or all. So biggest accomplishment for this past year, and if you have any particular goals with your cats for 2023. And then if you have any other feedback for me on any of the things that I'm doing with KittyCatGO or just anything, feedback, questions, whatever. Terry says her family's biggest accomplishment was integrating a new kitten into your home. Yes, that was a big one. And it was so fun to see the progression of Angel being integrated into your home. It was really great to see, and what a rewarding experience too that must have been for you. I mean, to do that, because I know it was really difficult at first, and you got there, and now Angel and Adami are like best friends, right? I've even seen some photos of them cuddling or at least touching. Quinn Gable, Grace, that's the one that I have on. She's on my list for talking about van life with her 2 cats. She is on my list, yeah. Looking through comments. Darren says theoretically Teddy covers a bunch of stuff like flying and hotel stays, various outdoor adventures. Yeah, she does. Cool. I will add them to my list. Nicole says the biggest accomplishment was adding Colby and Cooper to our family. Cal and Carmen have totally accepted them now and groom and play with them all the time. That's awesome. Well, that's 2 family integrations that have happened this year. And I know that's a big hurdle and can be a big obstacle. So congrats to you guys on those accomplishments and getting those new family members added in successfully. Darren says he accomplished eating all of our newly introduced proteins and taking larger prey items, rabbits, up to 2 pounds. Wow. That's cool. Theo is quite the, I was going to say hunter, but I guess he's not really hunting for it. He's quite the eater. That's awesome. Yeah, well, congrats to all of you guys. Okay, I think I'm caught up on comments. Wow, it's already after 9 o'clock. This episode has flown by. Thank you guys for being here and for asking me so many questions. I've enjoyed answering them, and I hope you've enjoyed listening to me ramble about random stuff for the past hour. um, but it's always fun to hang out with you guys. Maybe next time we should do this over Zoom or something, so then I can actually see you and not just staring at myself. All right. Well, if you have any last minute comments or last minute questions, drop them. I'm going to wrap things up. My gang is all staring at me, awaiting their dinner. So I need to go get them fed before they stage a mutiny. And I just want to thank you guys again for being here tonight, but also just being here in general, being here in the KittyCatGO community, whether that's on Instagram or Facebook or in Trailblazers. The Kitty Cat community is far-reaching and large, and thank you for being a part of it, and for, just all that you do with your cats. You guys all inspire me every day with everything that you're doing. And I love that we all inspire each other and encourage each other and support each other in everything that we're doing. And I know I'm kind of rambling, but I really do appreciate you and your support and everything. KittyCatGO would not exist if it weren't for you. And I love doing everything that I'm doing with KittyCatGO, and I love doing it with you. So thank you. You guys are amazing. Thank you guys for your kind words. I appreciate it. I guess that's it. Yes, I better go feed those poor starving kitties. They like to make me think they're starving. I know that's something that everyone deals with. They get 3 meals a day, but every time they act like they haven't had a meal in weeks. When that tree comes down, we'll know she's on here for too long. Yeah, well, I'm getting off now. I'm gonna go feed these cats, put my pajamas on, and snuggle in. This is my last week of teaching for the year. We're wrapping up our private lessons this Saturday with a student recital, and then I am off from teaching from my school job and from my private students for 3 weeks. 3 weeks. It's going to be glorious. I love my students, but I also love not seeing them for a few weeks, which means I will get to get some hardcore KittyCatGO work done, and also hopefully get out for some really great adventures over the next few weeks, as long as the weather isn't too cold. It's been really rainy this week. It is going to be rainy for the next few days, but plan to get out over the next few weeks. So everybody enjoy your holidays. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Winter Solstice, Happy all of the things. Happy New Year, and we'll see you guys around. And thanks again for everything. Have a good night.